why is stress so important to us? Stress is important because it gets us into action. Stress is important because it gets us to wake up in the morning. And when you wake up in the morning, your body produces cortisol. That cortisol will keep you going. Now, if there's no stress at all, and this is when people lose a will, they lose motivation. There's no reason to do anything because there's absolutely zero stress. Stress is a precursor to change. Stress is something that will make you get up from this chair to go somewhere. Stress. Now, when does stress become destructive? Stress, we can respond to stress in two ways. One is constructive and one is destructive. A constructive response to stress is when we use that stress to grow, to elevate, to expand. A destructive response to stress is when we cannot handle that stress, and therefore we start to think about how to end that situation, maybe even become suicidal. We might even become very resentful of other people. We might start to blame situations, life, other people for putting us in this stressful situation. When that stress becomes too much for you to handle, it's usually a sign that you're already under stress, that you're already stressed out. There are situations that can bring us into a place of chronic stress, such as childhood abuse, such as situations that have happened in the past that have made us more prone to stress or more prone to a destructive response to stress. And this happens when you've gone through life and there's just been a series of trying situations. There are situations that have put you in that mood of stress. So they've put you into a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. Now, when that happens too often, you become very wary. And when you become too wary, you become too highly strung. When you become highly strung, chances are that when you're faced with a situation such as losing a loved one, whilst this is highly stressful, you will go through a process of grievance. You go through your emotions of even anger during this time. But when we stay in that and we cannot shift, right? And that's when there is trouble. There is trouble because we're not able to healthily respond with that level of stress. And how to be able to healthily respond to stress is to just become aware of what is setting you off into this spiral. Really, nothing should really stress us out so much that we become so destructive, because life is a gift. Life is here for us to live abundantly and for us to be creators of this beautiful life, but we do need a bit of positive stress to get us into that. So the next time when you're faced with a destructive thought process following a period of stress, the first thing for you to do is to identify if you are already chronically stressed out. Chronic stress can be linked right back into your childhood, and it could be, for example, you could be a single parent without any support who is doing everything singly. That in itself, to be at somebody's beck and call 24 hours, that is quite stressful. Now, when you're already chronically stressed out, and then imagine you have to move houses, or imagine that you've suddenly lost your job, but you're already stressed out. You're already quite stressed. So imagine when you take a rubber band and you try and stretch it, right? There's only so far that rubber band is going to go, and then it's going to snap. And that's what happens when you're so chronically stressed, because you're already stretched beyond your means. You're already stretched beyond your capacity. And that's where our response, or rather our response, turns into a reaction to stresses in our daily life situations. So the way to deal with this is, if you've identified that you are chronically stressed, and if you are a single parent, or you are in a job that is too pressurizing and you're constantly where you feel like you are compressed all the time and there's just no space to move, there's just nowhere that you can just get that 5 minutes of downtime, then make yourself your priority. And if it means waking up early so that you can go out, walk for 5 minutes, or just sit with yourself, make yourself a priority, because it is absolutely vital to get out of a chronic stress situation. You will need to get the help that you need. If it is a situation that might need some form of therapizing, like going through an inner child healing or going through stress that's just lodged in, because life is full of stresses. It's designed to be full of stresses, but those stresses are designed to expand us, not to contract us. What contracts us and when we lose the will to live is when we just simply cannot cope with that stress. So you've got to ask yourself at that stage, why am I not able to cope with this? What happened for me, for example, is I just got so fed up. I couldn't understand why I was getting so stressed out about something, and I decided to just snap out of that and move on and do something about it. And I just decided I'm choosing happy for myself today. I'm choosing to be the best version of myself today. And my best version, if I was going to die today, or was going to die in a few hours or die tomorrow, I'm going to live my life as if I'm already relaxed and as if that stress doesn't even exist. And I'm going to make the most out of that stressful situation. You've got to empty yourself out in order for you to be able to contain anything positive that comes your way. So that chronic stress situation has got to leave. And most of us are living in an age of stress. We're living in a society that dictates, instant replies, instant responses, and there's so much competition out there. You go and get a quote from a removal company. There's about another 10 removal companies that'll come out there with quotes. So imagine being a removal company, yeah? So the competition isn't about being competitive with somebody else. It's about you bringing to the table something that's different. And to do that, you've got to figure yourself out and see what you can do and what is different about you, what is unique about you, and what it is that you can leave the other person. So the other person must, when you leave the other person feels a sense of, wow, I feel a sense of abundance. I feel like I'm more now. I feel a little bit richer because of this. So going back to stress, try to find a way of decompressing if you are constantly feeling under pressure. And you will know when your response to life situations that are stressful, house move, losing our loved ones, weddings, planning for weddings, new relationships, when you start dating somebody. I mean, imagine you start dating somebody and you start getting really stressed about what the other person is going to think. Or imagine, so you put ourselves into this situations, but just imagine being you, being the best, and look, hey, this is the best I can do, and this is who I am, and just leaving it. So, you're not chasing after an opportunity, you're not chasing after anything, you're just yourself and the best version at that. So release, find ways of bringing your parasympathetic nervous system into a normal mode so that you give yourself time to sleep, time to rejuvenate, join a yoga class, do some meditation, become aware. The next time you're faced with stress, instead of saying or feeling that I am now a victim of this stress, change that and say, wow, thank you, stress. Thank you, because now this is telling me that something is going to change. Yay, we're going to go on an exciting adventure. We lost a job. hooray, this is a time for me to go and find another job. And look, I am not saying that it's, you know, practically, oh, okay, where am I going to get next month's rent from? Where am I going to get, how am I going to pay my bills? You know, all of these things. But use those to your advantage, you know, find, and these, when you know, when, as long as you still stay in that stressed out mindset, you will not be able to create, you will not be able to, you know, that light bulb coming on of an idea, you're not going to get that idea because that idea is going to be so far away from you, simply because you're just too stressed out. So creating that distance between you and the stressor, and that's where your reaction, which is just, you know, your instinct, it just, you just react. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I just lost my job. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Where am I going to get this rent from? Or where am I going to get school fees? But if you can still say, oh my God, if you have to, or just have that reaction and then just say, whoa, wait a minute, put things into perspective, sleep over it, do whatever you need to take to create that distance between you and the stressor. And you will have a better way of dealing with this that doesn't come from a place of fear, doesn't come from a place of, oh my God, how am I going to survive now? But it comes from a place of, oh wow, thank you. What a wonderful opportunity for me to change. So embrace change, embrace the stressors. And please, if you are chronically stressed, I know I've been there. I've singly been with my little child since he was born, and I've been through the whole toddler period. I've been through, you know, round the clock breastfeeding and just nobody there, just me and my little one. And I used that period of stress as an opportunity to understand why I was getting so stressed out. Why was I feeling so, I was feeling all these secondary emotions to everything else that was happening, which I felt was unnecessary, given that I was so overjoyed with my little bundle. But I felt that, why am I carrying this burden? I mean, why am I feeling this? Why is it just, you know, because I didn't take enough time out for self-care. And self-care means go and nap when the child naps. Don't try and be superwoman or superman and try and do all these 10 million things. We're not designed to do that. So stress is a wonderful way for us to get into action, but it only works for us when you have a rest period. Your body needs a recovery period. As long as there is zero recovery, chances are that will turn into destructive. And when it turns into a destructive, it seeps into different avenues of our lives so that we are unable to make the right decisions, conscious choices, with food, even with everything, with relationships. Everything starts to crumble. We lose our temper so easily. It's so easy for us to snap. We weren't built to be so easy to snap. So take care of yourselves, and thank you.